We continue to count down our top 10 stories of 2014 here in New Mexico. Number 6 is education. This issue makes the top 10 list every year, but 2014 had a number of big stories that included unwise tweets by Albuquerque Public Schools Superintendent Winston Brooks, who then resigned. There was growing dissent around revamped teacher evaluations by the Public Education Department. And Rachel, what stories made this a top 10 issue for you? I'm going to take a couple of guesses about business and its importance in this connection with education, but what made it a top 10 story for you?
Definitely just that that exchange and that interest by business in watching what happens next, because that is one of the greatest concerns that I consistently hear from the business community about locating here, expanding here. They're really concerned about the education.
Would you say the business community voice is rising on this issue currently? This past year, was it rising?
I would say so. And that leads to another debate too. There are some people who don't want business to be so much shaping education. They want kids to get more of a general education that'll serve them in various areas of life. So there's a real debate there.
Interesting. We've had so many issues, Russell. What jumped out for you in 2014?
You know, the debate over early childhood education still is there. You had, when it failed in this session, you had advocates taking it beyond, going after certain lawmakers saying that you don't support kids and so forth. Right. And it became a fiscal argument. Should we take money from our permanent fund, land fund, and invest in early childhood? That's going to continue. I don't know how successful that will be with a Republican-controlled House, but I don't see those efforts at all declining. I think there's still going to be a big push, and I think this is just punted down for a bigger fight down the road.
Right. What do you make of that? Does that make sense to you, Patrick Malone, as well? That makes sense to me. Does it?
It does.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be a hard fight because of the political landscape at the legislature. I do think that the governor's administration and Education Secretary Designate Hannah Skandera didn't do themselves any favors by having inaccurate data when it came time to hand out teacher evaluations and school grades. So, you know, some of their policies, they've left themselves vulnerable to assault there. I think when it comes to the early childhood funding, that might be an area where they can find some middle ground in the legislature, but I assume that even some conservative Democrats, John Arthur Smith, who's instrumental in the funding process, have been you know, sort of obstacles to that and have come under a great deal of fire for it. But, you know, it could be one of those things that gets traded in the horse trading game.
Yeah, exactly right. Raises for teachers has come up recently. The governor's proposed new teachers get raises, but older teachers have been very loud this year about a lot of different things. Do you sense a rise in their voice as well?
I sense that rise in their voices on my Facebook page.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I've been turning around in my mind this whole year is I feel like all of the people that I know who are teachers and the people I sort of know on Facebook are just about to snap.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a limit to the amount of beating that the teachers can take. I think the raises is definitely an effort to use a carrot and not a stick so much. But between the, helicopter parents and the testing and the federal government and all of this pressure, this Rio Rancho creative writing teacher that we saw quit this week, why would anyone want to do this?
That's right. That's right. Interesting. I know a lot of folks who are leaving the business as well of teaching. They're just getting out. But that aside, are they in a different place on Hannah Skandera at this point with the new makeup in the House and other things in the Senate? The confirmation, is it still the same place it was last year and the year before and the year before that?
Well, the Senate Rules Committee still has to approve her, and I think that the makeup's going to still be the same, and we'll probably be at the same spot we are next year. It's just a political fallout, especially with the House going Republican. This is like the Democrats' last stand, and the last stand, the biggest constituents are teachers, and so this is one way to show them, look, we're still alive, we're still relevant, and so I think this is where they'll make their stand.
Yeah, exactly. APS is paying people to go lobby now or spend their time in Santa Fe. Who knows what they're doing? What do you make of that? It's an interesting idea. It solves one problem, but perhaps creates another. Who knows?
Definitely, there are a lot of things going on that they're going to want to be very vocal and very active in. I can't say I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, exactly right. The Winston Brooks fallout. To your mind, any fallout there? Or is that one of those things that just blows over quickly as soon as somebody leaves?
It means now there is a period of transition, which is a challenging period for a school system that already has some things it needs to work on. So that stretches that out.
Exactly right. Where does higher education fit in all this? We talk about lower grades all the time. You teach at university level. Some folks here do too. What do you see out there for students and things? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, higher education is a much easier place to be,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
all around. But I think it is definitely really hard for UNM when we look at the amount of remedial education that they have to do. So UNM and those in higher education know that there is a lot of work to be done in K through 12 so that UNM can get on with what it needs to do. And the amount of remedial education that our four-year colleges are doing right now, I think, is very expensive and time-consuming and draws resources away from everything else. So there's a lot of anxiety that it be either accomplished in K through 12 where it should be, or you know, I'm not sure how we're supposed to put that much more work onto the community.
Sure,
college
that's a good way to
system.
put it, though, Patrick. Because, you know, Dr. Frank has addressed what Gwyneth's talking about, and everybody knows you got to do something about remedial stuff. So it all sort of flows backwards, doesn't it, at university level, and just works its way down to almost middle school and elementary and all that kind of thing. It's all holistic, isn't it?
It really is. It's almost a hierarchy there. You know, how are we going to fix the higher ed concerns we have about students not being prepared when there's this pipeline through the lottery scholarship fund, which is also, you know, kind of tenuous right now. Something
Glad you brought that up.
not that many years ago, New Mexico high school students saw as really a gateway to college. Now they got to be wondering about. But yeah, if we don't fix the problems with the preschoolers, then you don't fix the problems with the kindergartners, with the high schoolers, with the college students.
Exactly
for
right.
preparation.
Our colleague, I won't get into it. It's a whole big long thing with education.